Strange things can happen out on the road. This police officer suddenly screamed and brought traffic to a halt on a busy highway, and the reason behind it shocked people all over the world. Officer Joseph Puglia was heading to the police station when something happened that he never saw coming. This is a man trained to stay calm in emergencies, but what he witnessed right in front of him made him yell out loud. It happened as he was driving along the interstate. All of a sudden, just a short distance ahead, a dog darted into the road and was struck by a car. The car didn't even slow down. It just kept going, leaving the dog lying still on the highway. Without thinking twice, Officer Puglia swerved his cruiser in front of the dog and parked it sideways. He blocked off the busy lane, making sure no other car could hit the injured pup. His dash cam had already been recording and captured the whole moment. He rushed over to check the dog's condition. Dropping to his knees, he searched for any sign of life. The dog wasn't moving at all. Officer Puglia feared the worst. Even though he had reacted fast, it seemed like he might still be too late. Just when he was about to stand up and walk back to his car, he spotted something, the faintest movement. The dog was still breathing. Its breaths were tiny and weak, and there was blood everywhere. He couldn't tell where the injuries were or how badly the pup was hurt. It didn't look good at all. Leaving the dog lying there would have meant certain death. The dog needed help, and he didn't have a second to waste. Officer Puglia sprinted back to his car and grabbed his emergency blanket. Moving the injured pup was going to be delicate. The last thing he wanted was to hurt the dog even more. Instead of picking him up barehanded, he wrapped him carefully in the blanket, then gently lifted him off the road. He carried the dog back to his patrol car and placed him inside with the utmost care. It was probably the gentlest ride any passenger had ever gotten in that vehicle. Wasting no time, Officer Puglia jumped into the driver's seat and took off. Over the radio, he quickly contacted dispatch, explained what had happened, and asked for help. Since he wasn't familiar with local veterinary clinics, finding the closest one was tough. Thankfully, the team guided him to Penless Animal Hospital, and they didn't stop there. They got in touch with the animal hospital right away and let them know he was on his way. Everyone treated the situation just like they would if he were rushing a human patient to the emergency room. All they could do was hope he made it in time. When Officer Puglia arrived, the staff was already waiting outside. They carefully took the injured dog and rushed him straight into surgery. Even though every part of him wanted to stay by the dog's side, duty called, there were still people out there who might need his help. With a heavy heart, Officer Puglia had to leave the pup behind in the care of the vets. Before he left, someone from the hospital asked him what name they should use for the dog while they searched for his family. The officer thought about how close this dog had come to dying and how it felt like pure luck that he was even still breathing. If help hadn't come right away, he wouldn't have made it, and odds were another car would have hit him too. It was nothing short of a miracle that Officer Puglia had been right there at the right moment. Considering everything, there was only one name that felt right. Lucky. They all just hoped that his good fortune would hang around long enough for him to fully recover. Officer Puglia headed back to finish out his shift, doing his best to focus on his work. But the second he clocked out, he drove straight back to the hospital. What he saw when he walked through those doors left him stunned. The dog was sitting up, and as soon as he spotted his rescuer, his tail started wagging like crazy. Officer Puglia's heart just about burst with happiness. He had honestly thought the little black and tan dog didn't stand a chance, but now here he was, alive and healing. Lucky had a few cuts and bruises, but overall, he had truly lived up to his name. It was a beautiful moment, but there was still a big question left. What would happen to Lucky once he was healthy again? He needed a real home, not a small kennel in a shelter. Given that he wasn't underweight, it seemed likely that he had once had a family. Everyone hoped to find them and reunite them, but it wasn't going to be simple. When Officer Puglia found him, Lucky didn't have a collar or ID tag, and after scanning him, the animal hospital couldn't find a microchip either. It felt like his luck might finally be running out. Now the only hope was that his family would come forward somehow. Until then, Lucky needed somewhere safe to stay. Officer Puglia kept coming by every day to visit him. But when he showed up at the hospital a few days later, he got another unexpected piece of news. Lucky had been discharged, and a local animal shelter had stepped in to take him. Animal Services had taken over care of Lucky, and from that point on, he could only be given back to his real family or adopted out to a new home. It felt a little sad, but everyone agreed it was the best thing for him. They shared his story far and wide, hoping to reach whoever might be missing him. Then something incredible happened. A family came forward to claim Lucky. They said he had been their dog for a while, and even showed a few photos to back up their story. According to them, Lucky had escaped from their yard when a delivery driver left the gate open. They came to pick him up, and even though Lucky seemed a little unsure at first, he perked up once he recognized them. It looked like the story had a perfect ending, but something didn't sit right. The shelter worker who released Lucky just couldn't shake the feeling that it all seemed a little too perfect. And she was absolutely right. Something was off, and if they didn't figure it out quickly, Lucky could end up in real trouble. The shelter official made several efforts to set up a home visit, which was standard procedure for them. Whether a dog was adopted or reclaimed, they always checked in to make sure the pet was safe and settling in well. But the family kept making excuses, saying they were too busy to schedule anything. Instead, they shared a social media account showing all the fun adventures they were supposedly having with Lucky. They even kept his new name and called him Lucky in the posts. The updates quickly got a lot of attention because so many people wanted to know how Lucky was doing. Every photo they posted looked perfect, almost too perfect. The shelter worker told herself she was probably just being overly cautious, but decided to double-check anyway. When she showed up at the address the family had given, it was nothing like the big open yard shown in the pictures. The real yard was tiny. That alone wouldn't have been a huge red flag, except for what she saw next. There was Lucky outside on a chain. Even though the family had claimed he lived indoors, he had no shade, no food, and no water. It was a heartbreaking sight. The shelter worker knew right away she had to act. They took Lucky back into their care immediately and opened an investigation. What they found next was shocking. The family had faked all the photos using editing tools to make it look like Lucky had a wonderful home. They didn't own him at all. They had only wanted him to boost their social media following and gain endorsements. It was clear they should never have been allowed to have pets. They were hit with a hefty fine for what they did. Lucky once again found himself without a home. But this time, he wouldn't be alone for long. Through all the struggles, one person had never forgotten about him, his guardian angel. What happened next was truly heartwarming. Officer Puglia, the same man who had saved Lucky's life on that busy highway, had never stopped thinking about the little dog. He had built a real bond with Lucky from the very first moment they met. And now he had the chance to rescue him all over again. As the shelter door swung open, Lucky's whole body lit up with excitement. The second he spotted the officer, he started jumping up and down, his tail wagging like crazy. His hero was back, the one who had been there when he needed it most. And this time, Lucky wasn't just getting rescued. He was going home for good. Officer Puglia adopted Lucky and gave him the forever home he had always deserved.